Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Democracy Report. Today is April 29th, 2025, or better known as Trump's first 100 days in office in his second term. And what a glorious time it's been. I mean, who can really, everything. So many great things have happened, right? I mean, we're talking about presidents having 3 terms now. We're talking about deporting American citizens to an El Salvador prison camp. We're talking about, oh my gosh, annexing Canada, taking over Greenland, stealing resources from Ukraine, praising Vladimir Putin for not taking over the whole country of Ukraine. Tariffs. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you how excited that is, right? Because everybody wants to be paying more and having their 401ks go bye-bye. Not great stuff. First 100 days of this presidency is a disaster. So let's just, we're going to talk more about it as we go. But on today's show, I also want to talk about the election in Canada and Trump trying to influence that election, which we'll go into a little bit, and just the status of how people are feeling after the first 100 days in office. So what the polls are saying, what the news is saying, what certain elements of the news are saying, different from other. You guys get the idea. So why don't we jump right in here? I'd like to talk first about Canada and the elections in Canada. As you know, there were elections in Canada. The Liberal Party won, which was a landslide. Well, not a landslide, but it was an unexpected victory. The Conservative Party was in the lead going into Trump's inauguration. In the 3 months that has ensued since then, Trump's rhetoric and everything about Canada being the 51st state, tariffs on Canada, pretty much destroying our, closest ally and trade partner. That relationship is pretty much, deteriorated to the point where the Liberal Party won. And Mark Carney is the new PM there in Canada, and I couldn't be happier for the country. And I think they're on the right path. So we're going to talk about that. Let me cue this up. So this is Trump, as I alluded to before. Trump kind of taunting Canadians on their election day. This is something an American president you wouldn't really think that this would happen, but here we go. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds. This clip I wanted to show, and here we go.
We're going to now talk about what's happening in the north, which is voters are headed to the polls in Canada. Canada is preparing to select its next prime minister, and the president of the United States is taunting them. Quote, "Good luck to the great people of Canada," President Trump wrote in a Truth Social post this morning, adding, quote, "Elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to cut your taxes in half, increase your military power for free to the highest level in the world, have your car, steel, aluminum, lumber, energy, and all other businesses quadruple in size with zero tariffs or taxes if Canada becomes the cherished 51st state of the United States of America." John King spent time in Ontario and British Columbia ahead of Canada's national election today, and of course is still here. What did you hear from Canadian voters?
I'm going to speak a sentence you will never hear in the United States. There's a big national election, and Donald Trump is by far the most unifying force. You speak to voters in Canada, and they can be conservative, they can be liberal, they can even be more to the left of the Liberal Party, support the New Democrats or support the Green Party. Listen here, 3 different voters, this is in Ontario, say, what's your #1 issue in this election? Donald Trump.
It's more Donald Trump. I feel like he's a bully in this situation. We're supposed to be allies. We thought we're on like a friendship level.
We're just sick of him. And it's only been 3 months into the term. I never thought I would put up a Canadian flag, but I think when it comes down to crunch time, Canadians really gather up.
There is no friends no more. The biggest thing in Canada is we have friends all over the world. How many friends does Americans have right now?
Yeah, it's a great point that he makes, this last guy, talking about how many How many friends does America have right now? The United States is dwindling in friends and dwindling fast. And I hate to say it, but it's almost like our friends are the dictators throughout the world, which is not the direction that America needs to be going. And, I am happy, let's put it this way, that because of Donald Trump has brought Canada closer together, unified in a cause to get Trump the hell out of their business. It's nuts. It's kind of crazy. And I don't, who knows when it's going to end. Trump's going to continue this rhetoric, guaranteed. But let's listen to what the new Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, from the Liberal Party, has to say. Let's see. Yep, we got about a minute and a half here of Mr. Carney here talking after his victory.
Warning for months. America wants our land, our resources, our water, our country. Never. But these are not idle threats. President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us.
Now, I wanted to just highlight something, so I want to pause this for a second. He is calling Donald Trump by name. And I think it's important to recognize that, because he is almost has more balls than the Democratic Party in the United States by saying that we have a leader, we have this, we have that, but they're, very seldom do you really hear them calling out Donald Trump, unless you're AOC or maybe Bernie Sanders. So I just thought it was important to recognize that we need to call him out as many times as possible, constantly, because that's what he would do.
That will never, ever happen. We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The system of open global trade, anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over. These are tragedies.
Guys, these are powerful words from the new Prime Minister. Saying that these arrangements, this friendship, this trading partner is now over, it's big words, and we need to take that into heart here.
But it's also our new reality. We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
But you're going to take us forward.
We have to look out for ourselves, and above all, we have to take care of each other. And my message to every Canadian is this: no matter where you live, no matter what language you speak, no matter how you voted, I will always do my best to represent everyone who calls Canada home.
Words you will never hear Donald Trump say, ever. Guys, he is a disgrace to the United States of America, and he needs to go. I mean, bottom line, 25th Amendment, whatever. This guy needs to get out of office and just go back to Mar-a-Lago and retire or something. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to show from Canada, from the elections there, and how they are reacting in Canada to the tariffs, to the United States. And I think some policy maybe has been spoken here, as we just heard from the new Prime Minister. So we'll keep an eye on this and see where this goes. But proud of the Canadian people for their elections, and I'm proud of the new Prime Minister for his speech and what he did say, and in unifying the entire country around a common goal. And I applaud him. So way to go, Canada. Good deal. Okay, let's move on to Trump's 100 days. I can't believe it's only been 100 days. It feels like a millennium since this guy has been back in the Oval Office, and it's just I can't really believe it's only been 100 days. Um, we're all going to need therapy after this is over. So, so here we go. This is a clip. So this is some poll numbers. As his approval rating basically as he gets to 100 days in office. So this is a clip we're going to show you, and from ABC News. Here we go.
This morning, as President Trump approaches his 100th day back in office, new warning signs about how Americans are viewing his work so far. Just 39% approving of how he's handling the job, according to our new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll. That's the lowest 100-day approval rating of any president in the past 80 years. On the economy, Trump promised to lower costs and boost growth, a message that was key to his victory.
I will instruct my cabinet that I expect results within the first 100 days or much sooner than that.
Now, 53% say the economy has gotten worse since Trump took office, with 72% saying it's very or somewhat likely his economic policies will cause a recession. Fears fueled by the president's trade war. The backlash now felt across the country at explosive town halls. Overnight in West Nyack, New York, Republican Congressman Mike Lawler getting an earful.
And when you look at, for instance, Europe has price controls on U.S. prescription drugs.
The president is eager to prove his trade policies are paying off, telling Time magazine he's already made 200 deals, despite there only being 195 countries in the world, though he wouldn't say what they were or which countries are involved.
Yeah, so he's made more trade deals with countries than even exist. That's unbelievable. Wow, what an amazing 100 days, to be able to get that far. It's such horseshit. I don't even think that he's made any trade deals yet that we know about. I can't imagine that there's been any made at this point, other than Trump just backing off on tariffs because it's causing too much harm. The latest thing is he's going to, help with the tariffs on automobiles because it's going to cause the price to drive way too high on automobiles sold in the United States. And, he's going to have to back off of some of these things because it's just not economically sound to do. So there's, worst of any president in 80 years. Like, think about that. 39% approval rating. That is just horrendous. It's terrible any which way you look at it. This guy is a disaster for the United States. He's a disaster for the country. And it's just, it's causing companies that were even like close to Trump, right, to start taking action against this. We saw, I think it was Walmart, Target, and Home Depot CEOs met with Donald Trump, telling him that shelves will be empty if something doesn't happen and these tariffs don't get loosened up and rethought. And, apparently he's working to do that. And now we saw, a lot of these billionaire company CEOs and founders of companies like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, for instance, was at the inauguration. He was one of the invitees that was standing there, and who knows how much he gave Donald Trump for the election, but yeah, he was one of those people standing there, and now he's even taking a stance against these tariffs, and going to make some changes to the way you shop on Amazon because of it. So let's get to this next clip. This is kind of hot off the press here, but this is a press briefing with Carolyn Leavitt, who, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, two of the biggest idiots that you could ever want. I mean, I think the whole cabinet's filled with a bunch of idiots, but they're all yes people. They all, kissed the ring. They're loyal to Donald Trump. So loyalty instead of being smart and able to do your job and having some sort of credibility. Doesn't matter so long as you're loyal, apparently, because these two have no fucking idea what they're talking about. So let's play this clip. This is on Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Let's hear what's going on here.
Hi, Mr. Secretary. So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years?
Let's just say the Biden administration did not hike the the inflation level. This was in a result of a global pandemic, which Donald Trump did very little to prevent in the United States. Yeah. Unreal the amount of bullshit that comes out of this mouth.
And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. Reuters recently wrote, that was an article, I believe what she showed there was from 2021. So 4 years ago is when this came out. So, just on its head there, it's propaganda. She's talking about propaganda. She's talking about politicizing this whole thing. What Amazon is doing is trying to alert the consumer that, hey, because there's 145% tariffs or whatever the hell the number is right now on China, and a lot of sellers on Amazon deal with China and Chinese manufacturing and Chinese deliveries of product to their stores on Amazon. It just seems right to be able to show that, hey, this is why this product is costing you so much more money now than it did 3 months ago or even 2 months ago or even a week ago, because of these tariffs are causing the issue. So as much as I'm not a big fan of Jeff Bezos, I am a fan of this, and I think other companies need to do the same thing and call it out and say, hey, look, this is the price that it should be. This is the price since President Trump took office. That, I think, will really show the average American who doesn't listen to this show, because I only have 9 subscribers, won't listen to me, maybe doesn't even listen to anything other than the Fox, state media, which is going to just regurgitate everything that Donald Trump wants them to say. They don't know these things, but this will hammer it home and say, hey, look, this is the tariff cost. This is the cost of the item. This is the cost with tariff. And that's what you're going to see. In Europe, they do a VAT. They show that. It's like, here's the cost. Here it is with VAT. Here's what your final cost is going to be. I don't find it wrong. I find it upfront with the consumer, and I think it's a good idea. So, again, this is this is only the first 100 days, and all these things are happening real time, daily. It's hard to keep up with. It's hard for me to keep up with all this stuff. So I wanted to show another clip here, and this is this will be the final clip of the day. And I hate to show the Fox, state media channel, which I'm going to continue to call. But this is Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine Pirro, on the 5 on Fox News. So I apologize for showing anything from Fox News, but it's good to see how the other side is playing this kind of shit. And let's play the clip, and then we're going to talk about it after. This is only like a couple seconds I want to show here.
There's so much to talk about here, and I'll be as quick as possible. Look, 100 days have been a remarkable success, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but I think the most important thing is immigration and what's happening, and the American people agree. 55% are agreeing that what the president is doing on immigration is incredible.
So I'm going to stop it right there because right off the bat, in those couple of seconds of that clip, she's already lied. 55% of Americans do not approve of the immigration policies of President Trump. That is a flat out lie. What she is probably trying to refer to, but spinning it, because she's not dumb. She knows what she's saying. 55% of Americans in the poll did say that they do approve of the border security that Donald Trump is doing. Okay, so that's his biggest poll number at this point. And the immigration is somewhere around 46, 47% approval, which I think is still way too high, based on what we've seen so far of the administration. So I don't even want to show anymore because it's propaganda, it's bullshit. And if you're out there watching Fox News, turn the shit off. Turn it to anything else. Get your news anywhere else other than Fox News, because they are the worst. And I mean, any company, any news outlet that got sued for almost $1 billion for lying to the American people, you probably should not watch them. Just my opinion. But it's it's all just propaganda bullshit that comes out of Fox. So, okay, I got one more graphic actually to show you based on the last what we just saw. So this is the Fox News' own poll. So this was before the latest Ipsos poll that has just come out. So this is President Trump's job performance. You can see his overall job performance. They're showing it 44%. Latest poll says it's at 39%. Border security, here's where I was talking about the 55%. So that's his biggest win so far of his administration, is the border security, which you can argue either way, whether it's good or bad. We'll just say, it's good for now. I mean, security is fine. Immigration, 47%. So like Jean Pirro chick was just saying, it was at 55%. She blatantly lied on that one. Latest poll has it at 46%. Deportations, 45%. Guns, 41%. Foreign policy, 40%. Now I want to get to the points. The rest of these here going down the list are the things that really got Trump elected. These are the things that he really said that the Biden administration was screwing up, and that Americans are paying too much. The economy is shit, and only he can save it. Let's see what that looks like. On the economy, only 38% approve, 56% disapprove. On taxes, 38% approve, 53% disapprove. On tariffs, 33% approve, 58% disapprove. Inflation, 33% approve, 59% approve. He is so underwater on the biggest topics that got him into office, the biggest issues that Americans have that got him into office, and he's just tanking on every one of those. Now, in the same kind of polls, they say that, Democrats probably aren't going to do any better. That between Republicans and Democrats, the American people don't trust either party. There's more independence now. There's, a growing, that party is growing more than the Democrats and Republicans, because people just don't trust any of them anymore, which, go figure. That's, I wholeheartedly agree. The Democrats don't have a great message. We're waiting. The Democrats seem to be waiting for Trump to just implode, which I think he's doing here. And this needs to be addressed by the Democratic Party. It needs to be a good plan needs to be come up with, and to explain to the American people how another party can do a lot better. But this is just the state of where we are right now. But I thought it was just fascinating to see that the biggest issues that Americans have, he is completely and totally screwing it up. So, first 100 days, quite a disaster. And there's a lot that we didn't even talk about. And just the state of where America is in the global, in the eyes of all of our partners, our friends, if we do have any friends left after all of this. It's very difficult for countries to be able to cozy up to the United States for security and for trade and for sharing of intelligence data, things like that, if they can't really count on every 4 years, you're going to have some freaking dictator that's going to come in and screw up all the policies that the previous administration had. It's just a disaster, and it needs to get fixed. So anyway, that's the first 100 days. I think we have like somewhere around like 1,500 more days to go or something. So we got a long way to go. So hopefully you'll stick with me and we can review all of this together. Please like and subscribe to this show. Really appreciate it, especially those likes really do help with the algorithm and getting more people to watch and hopefully subscribe. So thanks again. Take care. We'll be back again tomorrow. It should be around 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'm going to try to stick with that. I think it's a better schedule for me. Maybe it is for you. But leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of everything that we're doing right now with the show and see if there's anything we need to be doing different or better. So thanks again. Take care. And we will talk to you all tomorrow. Be good to each other. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.